Coffee with Coach. Happy New Year, and my goodness.
Yes, we're back to donuts. These are donuts. It's from the Donut Pub. And actually, they just reopened since the pandemic, the 14th Street location. These guys have been in business since 1964, and they have been named by a lot of people as one of the best donuts in New York City. The Donut Pub. We have donuts here back on Sunday, so I love the fact that we've kind of gone full circle with this year.
These are tremendous.
We're getting back to some good old-fashioned donuts. We went to some other pastries before from all around the country. I know, we'll get you one. He's so anxious.
You know, Brock told me he's never had a black and white cookie.
I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah, that's
It's a black and white
unacceptable.
cookie,
You
yeah.
need to have one of these.
Okay.
That's,
All right.
it is
If I must.
like
It
no
is.
other.
Yeah.
Look to the cookie.
Yeah.
Monster game on CBS between the Dolphins and the Ravens. I want to get your take on how both quarterbacks perform and who wins.
Well, number one, I think both these quarterbacks are on the stage. It's so funny because, we saw Brock Purdy and Lamar go at it last week, and we saw Lamar slay Brock Purdy. Can he slay Tua today? They make a big time statement that, yeah, I am the best quarterback and maybe the MVP in the National Football League, although I will take your take on Josh Allen, not to forget about him. But I think when you look at these things, the one thing we talk about with Lamar and Tua is obviously they're unique, the offensive style. I think running the football is being very important for Miami. I think for Lamar, again, continue to extend the plays. But the one thing that you got to think about when you think about these two offenses, they're going against two defenses. These two defenses rank 1 and 2 in sacks. And no one even knows. Miami is second in the National Football League in sacks. And since Jalen Ramsey has come back, they're number 1 in points. They're number 1 in giving up in yards. So Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard have given them the back end. I think they may get Holland back today as well. So this Miami offense and this Miami team is more than just the offense. Bradley Chubb is playing at a very high level. Christian Wilkins, Seiler on the inside. These guys can get after you and they can stop the running game. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach attacking Lamar, because Lamar can create a lot of different problems for you.
Coach, we saw Dan Campbell erupt at the officials on the sideline last night. We've seen coaches and players throughout the season express displeasure with officials and officiating. So what, if any, changes to officiating, whether adding technology, making officials full-time, or otherwise, would you recommend?
Well, Amy, listen, you've been in this league long enough, too. I mean, that's a lifelong complaint that we all have had. I know I've had my fair share of disagreements, and maybe the way we saw certain things, we saw it differently, and then obviously made the judgments accordingly. So, but I think, again, the most important thing, and I go back, and you said it, I don't know why in this industry that we don't have full-time officials. There's no way you can tell me that someone who's full-time is going to be more prepared and will have more of an accountability than someone who's doing it as not a full-time job. So I don't see how that can hurt. I know you're saying to other people they can't, they got other jobs they got to do. Then let's pay them. Let's pay them the way they should get paid for a billion-dollar industry. Let's pay them where they can take all the time, make up for what they've been doing before, and keep these guys full-time. There's no way they cannot be better.
Coach, what has impressed you most about the job that Shane Steichen has done this year?
Well, listen, I think what he's done is, what he was doing with Anthony Richardson when he came in, and then now he's gone to Gardner Minshew. He dealt with Jonathan Taylor and that whole contract dispute. And I think one of the best things that Shane Steichen did was he kept Gus Bradley from last year's staff. I think one of the biggest things you do as a first-time head coach is make sure you have expertise on the other side of what you came in for. I came in as a defensive coordinator. My first hire was Ron Earhart. He was a coordinator for all those years, experienced with the New York Giants. So I knew I was going to take care of the defense, but I wanted somebody on the other side that had experience, that had credibility, I didn't have to worry about it. And I think Gus Bradley has done this with Indianapolis defense. I think Shane Steichen has taken a backup quarterback and got them on the verge of going to the playoffs.
Coach, when I was a baseball player, a pitcher, I used to,
You were a pitcher?
I could get a couple guys out in a row. Yeah, I was a thrower more than a pitcher, and you'll hear why.
How many guys did you hit?
I would get a couple guys out. Enough.
So, I'm just saying, seeing you as a pitcher, like if you were mad, I don't know if I'd want to even get in the box.
My little brother was my catcher. He'd deal with my brother.
Okay. So
you'd get enough guys out, and then one guy would hit a home run on you, and that's all you could think about. So for the Philadelphia Eagles, who got a lot of teams out early in the season, but they've had some ups and downs here recently, how do you refocus heading into the playoffs as a coach? How do you get your guys on the same page?
And I think it's a great question, Kyle. And I think the biggest thing, they did lose 3 in a row, and they came back and they beat the Giants. And yet all we're talking about is that they almost gave up the win, and the Giants came back. And everyone's after the game. You think they lost the game. You look at the sideline. You look in the locker room. Like, guys, relax. We won. Okay, yeah, we can play better. So the biggest thing I should say is we get to the playoffs, All I know is in the playoffs, everyone's got the same record. It's single elimination. Now, our paths to get to where we want to go to, some of us are different. Some of us are going to pack our bags and go on the road. We did it 3 times, no problem. Maybe we'll play 1 game at home and have to go on the road. No problem. All I know is you're in a single elimination, it's 0-0, and it's you against them. So you want to talk about how we got here? Don't worry about it. I'm going to look ahead instead of looking behind me.
I have the chills right there. Let's go! Let's go! Falcons are in Chicago.
I'm not getting in a box with him. If he's pitching,
By the way, through high 90s.
high 90s. And if he's
That's
mad,
hearsay.
I know, but if you're mad, if you don't feed this guy, then my gosh. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on.
Falcons, I want you to look at this, Coach. In Chicago to take on the Bears, and Amanda Renner had a chance to speak with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus when he arrived.